what were the best experiences that you had for the London Knights and then the Oshawa Generals? What's an experience that you could pick out from both of them?
Sure. So I was actually very privileged in my time with the London Knights. I was there in 2016, which was the year they won the Memorial Cup. It was also the year they had Mitch Marner, Christian Dvorak, Matthew Tkachuk on their team. Tyler Parsons, I'm not sure. I think he's still in the Calgary organization, but I'm not sure. But they had Tyler Parsons did play for the World Juniors that year. So they had a hell of a team.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. Can I say that? They had a really good team that year, and obviously guys who have gone on to have excellent NHL careers. So my first experience getting to see players who you knew were going to go on to be successful and how they operated. So seeing that at a very early time in my career was really beneficial to me, and seeing how they worked. I learned very quickly how to deal with players and how to handle with players through Natalie and through Sean, who took over for Natalie partway through my season. He now works for Scotiabank in hockey partnerships, I believe. But both of them, learning from them and how they interacted with players was invaluable experience that I can, it's not something you can learn without seeing it from people and seeing how they interact and how the guys respected them. And that's definitely something that I took with me that I think helped me be successful in Oshawa. But definitely in London, going on the Memorial Cup run, sadly, when the team did go to, I believe it was Red Deer, yeah. I was in Europe at the time. I had gone on a Europe trip with actually two girls I had interned with in London. So we were in Budapest in a hostel. And when I tell you we watched on a 7-inch laptop screen that we paid, I think, $40 for internet to watch this game in Red Deer. And in Budapest time, I think it was 5 a.m. because the game was in Alberta time. We were losing our minds in this hostel bedroom when they won the Memorial Cup, just so excited. So definitely, I think having that experience my first year, not a lot of people get, being on a team that is obviously a championship caliber team from the beginning. So that was a really cool experience to see the whole process of what it takes to win, how much work goes into winning, how much behind the scenes from your office staff, your hockey ops, what players go through. And also developing the player relationships. Like Mitch Marner, I told this story on Twitter before, but I'll tell it here. Like Mitch Marner used to, when he'd be a star, I would pull the 3 stars at the end of the game, and he would always be worried about his eyebrows. Like he would be like, Jess, fix my eyebrows, because he always knew there were photos when he went out for 3 stars. So I would like fix his eyebrows, like flatten his eyebrows to make sure they weren't all over the place after a game. So just funny stories like that probably, I mean, won't leave an impact on him. Like the players when I was in London knew who you were, but didn't really know who you were because there were so many interns in London. But he did know me because we had interactions, and every time we were at team appearances, I would always deal with Mitch. So I don't know if he'd probably know me to see me, but wouldn't remember my name. But it's still a cool experience that I have and a memory I have with Mitch. And another player in that scenario with London was Matthew Tkachuk. I can't say anything. I know a lot of people have controversial opinions on him, but growing up, I think, in a family like he did with his dad being a professional, he was so professional through and through all the time with what he did, the time he took out for fans, the way he would speak to them. If you asked him anything, it was always yes, he was willing to do it. So I think someone learning at a young age what it takes to be a pro, you could definitely see that in Matthew at a very, very early stage in his career. And then with Oshawa, Oshawa holds a very special place in my heart. When I came in, I had a lot of guys on our team that I got to know very quickly and who took to me quickly, and we created great relationships. There was a lot of groaning sometimes when I'd ask them for social media content, like, oh, yes, like, really, you're making us do this. But there was a lot of times that they would like it after they saw it when it was done, so it was worth the time. But I have a couple really good memories of, we took the guys to a haunted house one year. Again, they were groaning about it because it was a 45-minute drive, but they actually were scared, which was the good thing. So that video turned out really well. We also recreated Christmas movie covers with the guys for a social campaign, and taking those photos were one of the funniest days, just putting them in the costumes and trying to get them to recreate the images. So not as much as on ice play, but off ice play, off ice things that we did with the guys, and getting to build those relationships with the players are something I'll definitely cherish. Like, those guys mean more to me than they'll ever know, and the relationships that I got to build with them are definitely something I'll never forget. And we something for me that will always stick was we went on a run last year to the Eastern Conference Finals when we were not supposed to. We had traded away our captain, Jack Studnicka and Matt Broussard, at the deadline to the Niagara Ice Dogs, and everyone kind of counted us out after that. And after we traded them away, and Jack is probably one of my favorite people I've ever got to work with as a player, as a person. I'm so happy to see him being successful right now. When we traded him away, I was upset because he had been with me since day one, and then our GM started making other deals, and we kind of built a team that, you know, could maybe go for it. And we had Kyle Kaiser, who had played at the World Juniors for the US and was an awesome goaltender, and we started making a run. And I remember we were down 2 games to Niagara, and we came back and won 4 straight and won that series and put them out. And the guys were losing their mind. We were all losing their mind. We did not think that would happen. And it was something I'll never forget. And even to this day, when you go back to any guys from that team, you ask them what their favorite memory of being a General so far, and it's that playoff series against Niagara and taking that victory. And I will just never forget those feelings of winning and being there in those moments. So that was something that was really sticks out for me with Oshawa. And as much as I love game days and love being a part of the social building and the game presentation, because I had a hand in both of those things, it was the people I got to work with in Oshawa. There are so many great people in that organization. I can't say enough good things about the business staff, my game presentation team, my volunteers, my interns. I had so many great people working with me. Sarah McAllisang, who was my graphic designer, she was my ride or die, my work wife. She does great work. I would not have been able to do what I do without her. And my very special favorite person in Oshawa, Brian Boyes, who's the longtime equipment manager. Him and I formed a very special friendship, and he is definitely someone I'll miss a lot for leaving Oshawa. So nothing but good memories in Oshawa, a lot of fun things I got to be a part of.